we began a scenario where Raditz kidnapped Goku. Now, he's stuck with the Saiyans. Although, there might be some ways to get him back home, but it's easier said than done. We'll be covering all that and more in the second part of What If Goku Joined Raditz. Of course, the prime objective of everyone on Earth right now is to get Goku back, but Tien decides it's best to be training too. But they find out about the threat of Piccolo Jr. as well. After they get over the weirdness of Raditz arriving, Kami thinks it's imperative to look into that, and they do. Figuring out the reason Kami's still alive is because Piccolo Jr. is now a thing. So, in case Goku doesn't come back, Tien's going to be the one to actually face off against him, and Kami takes him for training. I guess one good thing about this is it serves as a motivator for everybody because they realize they're kind of useless against Raditz. And according to King Kai, there actually are 2 other Saiyans out there. Raditz is the weakest of the 3. Tien didn't even get the chance to fight him, but he felt like he couldn't. He was frozen in fear. He knew it would be a death wish and it probably would have risked Goku's life at the same time. But it's not just him. Krillin of course wants his best friend back. He and Yamcha are training relentlessly at Kame House. And Bulma's trying to figure out some way to go out into space. Which is a little tough because they don't have any space pods here, and it's not like she goes to the lookout with Kami and finds out about his spaceship. At least not just yet. Let's go back out into space. Vegeta and Nappa eventually arrive at the base and meet Goku. They had some time in between missions to stop here, and they get to see him up close. He really isn't that strong. It makes Raditz look strong in comparison. He still is young, but still, a 3-digit power level? That's a little low. And he slowly is growing, like after healing from Raditz, and even training a little bit in the meantime, his power level shot up a little bit. But he's still far too weak to take on missions. Raditz tells Goku he needs to stay here and train, which is kind of a good thing for Goku because he didn't want to go on missions regardless. Although eventually, they're going to have to drag him along to that. So that gives him some time alone to think of a plan, and grow stronger, which is of course a good thing for him. And they know he's not going to leave here. Kakarot's the weakest person on the base at the moment. Even the regular soldiers here, they're too strong for him to take on. But they still know he might try and get smart and try to leave. So they're doing everything in their power to prevent that. Goku doesn't even know how to use the spaceships, thankfully. But on top of that, Nappa lets him know that all the spaceships are guarded. So don't get any ideas. And if he even does get a spaceship somehow, the Frieza Force will chase him down and shoot him down in space. But he also can't sit here doing nothing. Vegeta tells him that if he doesn't reach a 4-digit power level by the time he hits a growth spurt, they're gonna kill him. And Goku can tell that they are serious. These guys are way stronger than anyone he's ever faced before. Even King Piccolo looks like nothing in comparison to them. Thankfully, Goku still does have some time before he hits his growth spurt, so maybe he can achieve that goal. Although it's a little weird because he doesn't know anything about power levels. He just knows, well, regular ki. He never measured it with numbers. But he's only about a quarter of the way there right now, so he begins training. He comes to learn they have some pretty decent facilities here, with really high tech. It's way crazier than anything he's seen on Earth. The downside is he doesn't have any teachers for him, so he's basically just got to go on his own. He won't really be learning anything new here. Although one thing he learned from Raditz is the fact that Saiyans grow a lot stronger after they face severe injuries. Of course, he can't just injure himself and exploit Zenkais that way, but there still are other soldiers here, and they're not necessarily nice people, so if he fights them and loses, that could at least help him grow. From a technical standpoint, Goku is one of the best fighters on the base. Actually, the best fighter. He's the smartest fighter with the best technique, and even some of the stronger opponents struggle against him because of that. But only to a certain extent because there are people here with power levels over 1,000, which is still way too much for him to handle. He feels weak in comparison to everyone around him, but he'll find a way. He also learns how to control Great Ape over this time because before Raditz left for his mission, one thing he actually did show Goku how to do is to create a fake moon, which does take up a chunk of his power, but now he could transform into a Great Ape willingly, and at least learn how to control it. And by now he of course realized that he's the one who killed Grandpa Gohan, which is also another reason he wants to control this power. It's a good thing to have, because it could actually help him out in a fight, but on top of that, he doesn't want to accidentally transform into that again and kill people around him. Plus, he doesn't really have anything else better to do here. So he works hard. That's really all he can do here. There's no Senzu beans, but they have the healing pods here at least. So when things get bad, he's able to at least heal up that way. Another full year passes. Sometime after he turns 17, Goku hits a growth spurt. He knows that any moment now, Vegeta and his crew are going to come back and they're going to challenge him. But thankfully he still has some time because they don't know exactly when he hit his growth spurt, they're just estimating. It's a little strange, he at least expected Raditz to stick around him. But no, they just left him here to his own devices. But another interesting person arrives on the base. Someone Goku's actually heard a lot about by now, both from the other Saiyans and the other people around the base. The person he directly works under. All the soldiers at this base are pretty taken aback because they don't know why he's here. And he says he was just stopping by, but there is one person he wanted to meet. The Saiyan from Earth. Of course he knows there's another Saiyan. The others told him after all. His Earth name is Goku, but the others call him Kakarot. Not that he likes that name. And Frieza meets Goku face to face for the first time. He also heard the Saiyan was different from the others, in pretty much every aspect of who he is. As a fighter, he fights completely differently. As a person, he's not a ruthless warrior, but he still loves battle. And of course, the fact that he's from Earth. He's never been a soldier. Goku's been waiting to meet Frieza because, well, first of all, he wants to know who the strongest person is. That's just natural for him. But also because he was kind of worried about what Frieza would do when he sees him. But Frieza's just kind of here for the novelty of it. He doesn't really care about Goku because he's really weak. He is pretty surprised to see another Saiyan in the first place, and the fact that he stayed hidden for this long is pretty interesting. Not to mention, the fact that he completely lost his memory. He just wanted to see what he was dealing with, and because Goku is so weak, it's not like he's particularly worried about the Saiyans. He also is pretty ill-mannered, but not in a way where he's trying to be cocky or mean, just that he's not polite. He's definitely not as annoying as the other Saiyans. Maybe Frieza will take a liking to him. He clearly doesn't like the other Saiyans. And nor does Frieza, so maybe these two actually have something in common. But that's all he came here for. He wishes Goku well. They'll probably meet again at some point. Let's go back to Earth for a bit. After all this time has passed, the Dragon Balls have been reactivated, so of course they have them by now. And just like they promised, their next wish is to bring Goku back. Shenron says that should be a simple wish to grant, so he searches for Goku. And then, he denies the wish, saying that Goku wasn't willing to be returned here. Since Goku is stronger than Shenron at this point, it's Goku's choice whether he wants to return or not. But they're all confused. Why doesn't he want to return here? So Shenron disappears, telling them to summon him when they actually have a wish. Kami's going to try and figure out the cause, and he ends up talking with King Kai, who's able to get in contact with Goku. This is the first time they speak directly. He has no clue who Kami or King Kai are. He never met Kami in the first place. But he's assuming if this guy's talking through his head, he definitely has to be the god of something. And yeah, he knows about the wish to bring him back. Shenron tried to communicate with him directly. He did actually deny it. King Kai asks him why, and Goku says he's decided he's only going to come back if he's strong enough to beat Vegeta. It's a personal challenge mainly, but also, think of it. Even if he comes back, they'll come to Earth again, and either kill or kidnap him. And that's just Vegeta. There's also Frieza they might have to worry about. So what happens if he goes back to Earth right now, and he's not strong enough to face Vegeta? Well, at some point Vegeta would come to Earth, and that wouldn't go well. And if he does take Goku again, Shenron can't grant the same wish twice. The other option is Vegeta just kills everyone there. Either way, they're gonna have to fight Vegeta at some point. So he'd rather do it on his terms, and also not on Earth where he could put everyone at risk. This is his fight after all. He doesn't want to get them all dragged into it. The others urge him to come back though, and train here instead. Especially Roshi, telling Goku he needs to come back now. That's an order. But Tien kind of understands it though. As a warrior, and from a logical standpoint, it both makes sense. This is pretty in line with his thinking. And even though Krillin wants to see him back here, he kind of agrees with Goku's reasoning. It's not just because he wants to fight Vegeta. It is also kind of smart to do it that way. But who is this Vegeta guy? And Goku tells him the people he's met here. Raditz is the weakest of the Saiyans, and then there's two others, Nappa and Vegeta, both of which are multiple times stronger than Raditz. Goku's already grown pretty strong over this time period. But on top of that, there's also the rest of the Frieza force who's pretty powerful. And he doesn't know the true extent of it. He could be dragging all that back to Earth. He saw Frieza up close at some point too, which kind of surprises King Kai and makes him terrified. Goku would love to fight him someday, but that's going to be pretty far off. Judging by how strong he was just in his suppressed state, he doesn't stand a chance, and King Kai immediately starts freaking out and tells Goku to not even think about it. Frieza's way more powerful than anyone he'll ever meet, and the fact that King Kai's that nervous tells everyone what they need to know. Bulma also tells Goku that they can use space travel as an option. They found Kami's old spaceship, and she could work with that and try and make into a ship to actually retrieve Goku. So instead of wishing him back here, they could always bring him back. But still, the same issues would arise. Plus, if they come here directly, they're putting themselves at risk too. But it's good that they at least have some backup plans. Krillin just tells Goku he better not die. He gets his reasoning, he just wants him to be safe. And plus, if Goku ever changes his mind, the Dragon Balls always can bring him back. They also let him know about Piccolo on Earth, but Tien's gonna handle that, which kinda bums Goku out because he would have loved to fight Piccolo Jr. Although, the opponents here are much stronger than what Piccolo Jr. would be like. At least, he assumes so. But he'll talk with them again eventually. Vegeta comes back to the base not long after with Nappa and Raditz. Kakarot's power hasn't grown too much. They've been pretty busy, so they couldn't come here right away. So they remind him of what they told him. He's already dead weight as is. They only brought him here because he's a Saiyan, and they expect him to be stronger. But they're not bringing him back to Earth, and if he's gonna be dead weight, well, they might as well dispose of him. So now's for the moment of truth. Goku smirks and powers up. He's not necessarily sure how strong he is at the moment. He hasn't measured his power level yet. So he's a little nervous, but still confident. And he's made great use of the training facilities. Raditz pulls out his scouter, and the number slowly climbs up. Kakarot's power is 1001. Just over what they needed. Well, they were hoping it would be a bit more, but he held up his end of the deal. And actually, this isn't really a crazy power level because during the 23rd World Tournament, Goku measured at 910 at one point. Granted, this was from a source outside of the main story, because it was some power level listing in Weekly Jump, but still, I think it's good enough to say that he might be able to get strong enough this soon, particularly at his full power. Because remember, he has pretty good training facilities here, and since there were other people he could fight with here, he did actually exploit Zenkais to some extent. It wasn't all he was doing, but it was enough to actually get him ahead like this. Either way though, he's where he needs to be. And Raditz congratulates him. Still, he's weaker than Raditz, but he's getting pretty close. And for his age, that power level's more fitting. He truly is becoming a great Saiyan warrior. And now, he could finally join them on missions. Goku completely forgot about that. So, he's gonna continue living, but obviously he doesn't want to go out on these missions. It's not like he has a choice though. And knowing the Saiyans, they're probably gonna kill him if he doesn't go along with them. He doesn't want to go kill innocent people and take over random planets with them. Although, he has been thinking over this time, once the missions roll around, maybe there are some ways to get around it. All he really needs to do is grow strong enough to actually beat Vegeta and his friends, so he just needs to get by long enough for that. and he could probably get by on missions without killing people and maybe even save some people in the process. It's going to be a little tough because he doesn't really know what the missions entail, but he'll figure something out on the way. While Goku tries to figure out what's next, let's go back to Earth. The 23rd World Tournament rolls around. Right off the bat, Chi-Chi is there looking for Goku, and she can't find him anywhere, but she asks around and finds Krillin. Krillin then tells her what happened with Goku, and she thinks they're just joking at first to try and make an excuse for why Goku's not here. But no, that's actually all true. He is legitimately an alien, and he got kidnapped by his alien brother. Oh. Well, she'll still marry him regardless. They did make the promise after all. She'll just have to see him at another tournament once he comes back. But those aliens better bring him back, or she's gonna directly deal with them. Sure. The final match for the tournament is Piccolo versus Tien. Now, Tien has trained with Kami, so he's stronger than normal, but I think Piccolo's gonna have the advantage here. They knew what to expect with Piccolo. And Piccolo also overheard them talk to Chi-Chi, and he knows that Goku's not here currently. Goku is his main target after all. So is his brother too because, well, he knows what King Piccolo knows, and Raditz was the one to finish King Piccolo off. Tien's also a target for revenge too, but still, the two primary people he wants to go after, they're not here. He was hoping Goku would have returned by now. He fights Tien. Goku had a pretty tough time against Piccolo Jr., and he had better advantages than Tien did. And he also beat Tien pretty easily during this tournament. So compare the two of them, and even though Tien's stronger, I don't think he'd be on Goku's level. He's a brilliant fighter, and he still has his own unique techniques, and it would make the battle really hard for Piccolo, but I think Piccolo will end up winning this tournament, defeating Tien. No one can stand in his way. He declares victory, and now that he's won this tournament, he'll pick up where his father left off. But Kami then distracts Piccolo for a bit, asking him if he seriously plans to do all of this. They haven't tried the Mafuba on him just yet, and Piccolo actually was expecting it this entire time, but now it's Tien's chance. He's pretty weakened after the fight, but Piccolo's too busy gloating and he's talking with Kami at the moment. So Tien pulls out the container and performs the Mafuba. It catches Piccolo off guard and he tries to reverse it, but Kami steps in and helps Tien with it too. With both their combined power, they are able to actually seal Piccolo here. So even though Tien did lose the tournament, still, they were able to stop Piccolo. Well, that's one problem dealt with, but there's still the whole issue with Goku, so they're not too sure what to do next. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's gonna happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.